Mater's Secret Mission. In the middle of the ocean, a British secret agent named Finn McMissile climbed up the side of an oil rig. He turned on his listening device and started to look around. Soon he saw a group of cars on a lower deck, including one named Grem and another called Acer. Suddenly, a new car appeared. Finn's computer identified the car as a criminal named Professor Z. He and the other cars on the rig were up to no good. Finn took as many photos as he could. Before Finn could leave the rig, the professor spotted him. "Get him!" he yelled. Grem, Acer, and the others chased Finn across the oil rig and onto a crane. Finn dropped a bunch of oil drums onto the other cars and climbed up to the rig's helicopter pad, but there was nowhere else to go. Finn jumped overboard and pretended to sink, but secretly he turned into a submarine and got to safety. "Wonderful," the professor said. "Now no one can stop us." Back in Radiator Springs, Lightning McQueen was having dinner with Sally. He was done racing for the season and glad to have lots of time off. Mater was their waiter. While he was getting their drinks, Mater saw Sir Miles Axelrod on TV. Axelrod said he had created a new fuel called All-in-All that could be used instead of gasoline. "What do you think of that?" Sarge asked Fillmore. Fillmore scoffed. "Once big oil, always big oil, man," he said. A car named Francesco appeared on the screen. He was going to race in Axelrod's World Grand Prix. The TV host asked him why Lightning wasn't racing. "He is afraid of Francesco," the race car replied. Soon Mater had called into the show. "Lightning could beat you any time," he said. When Francesco began to make fun of Mater, Lightning got on the phone and said he would enter the race. Lightning decided to take Mater and the rest of the Radiator Springs gang to the World Grand Prix. They would act as his crew. Before the first race in Tokyo, Axelrod threw a huge party. Lightning started talking to some of the other race cars, but Mater didn't know what to do. He saw something that looked like pistachio ice cream. The chef tried to tell him that it was spicy wasabi, but Mater took a big scoop anyway. When Mater tasted the wasabi, he screamed. He started driving all around, trying to find some water. Finally, he stopped. Everyone was looking at him and the pool of oil on the floor. Mater went to the restroom to clean himself up. "I never leak oil," he told himself, confused. While Mater was in the stall, an American secret agent named Rod Torque Redline came into the bathroom. He had a device with a tracker so that his British partners could find him. But two bad cars named Grem and Acer appeared and started to fight with Torque. When Mater came out, Torque stuck his tracker and some secret information to the tow truck just before he left. Outside the bathroom, British spy car Holly Shiftwell was waiting. She detected the tracker and thought Mater was a secret agent. "Let's talk tomorrow at the races," she said to him. The next day, Mater went to the racetrack with Lightning and the rest of his friends. He thought he had a date with Holly. The race began. Mater talked to Lightning over a radio and told him where to go. Lightning was winning. High above the racetrack, Professor Z had other plans. He had sabotaged the all-in-all fuel that the racers were using. When Grem and Acer zapped a car with a special camera, it did something to the fuel that made the engine burst into flames. Holly was watching the race too. She spotted Mater and started talking to him over the radio, telling him how to find her. "Go outside," she said. "Go outside," Mater repeated. Lightning thought Mater was talking to him over the radio. He moved to the outside of the track. Francesco sped past him and over the finish line. Mater tried to explain, but Lightning was furious. "I don't need your help," Lightning said. Mater was sad that he let his best friend down. He decided to fly back to Radiator Springs, but Finn was at the airport waiting for him. The secret agent introduced himself. "Finn McMixile, British intelligence," he said. "Tow Mater," Mater replied. "Average intelligence." Finn noticed that Grem and Acer were chasing them. He fended them off while Mater towed Finn toward a plane. Mater didn't even realize they were being chased. Finn and Holly still thought Mater was a spy and that he acted silly so no one would know. Holly took the tracking device off Mater and dropped it into the plane's computer. A photo popped up. Torque, the American agent, had taken it, but Holly and Finn thought Mater had. "What is it?" Finn asked. Mater hadn't taken the picture, but he knew a bad engine when he saw one. He told Finn and Holly that it was one of the worst gas-guzzling engines ever made, and it had special bolts. But he had no idea whose engine it was. The next day in the World Grand Prix was in Italy. The next race in the World Grand Prix was in Italy, so the Radiator Springs gang stayed with Luigi's uncle Topolino. Lightning missed Mater and wished he hadn't gotten angry. Uncle Topolino told him it was important to stand by friends. Lightning thought about that. Meanwhile, Mater and the spies were on their way to Italy, too. Holly gave Mater a disguise. She also gave him a voice-activated defense system. The plan was for Mater to sneak into a meeting to find out what was going on with the race. With his disguise, Mater fit right in with all the other cars at the meeting. Professor Z came in. He introduced his boss, who told the cars that once All in All was proven dangerous, cars would go back to gas. That would help all of them gain power and become rich. Meanwhile, at the race, Lightning crossed the finish line just before there was a big pile-up. Sir Axelrod made an announcement. The cars would not use All in the final race, but Lightning decided to use the special fuel anyway because Fillmore had told him it was safe. "I didn't stand by a friend recently," he said to the press. "I'm not making the same mistake again." The professor was watching. His boss had told him that Lightning was a problem he'd need to take care of. Mater left to warn Lightning, but the professor had the others catch him. Before Mater knew it, he'd been knocked out. When Mater woke up, he was in London, site of the final race. He was also trapped inside a clock called Big Bentley. He, Finn, and Holly were all being held prisoner by Grem and Acer. The two bad cars had their special camera. They knew Lightning was running on All in All, and they were waiting to zap him. When they tried, luckily nothing happened. Mater was so relieved. "Time for the backup plan," Grem said. "We planted a bomb in Lightning's pit." The two bad cars left, laughing. "Dadgum," Mater exclaimed. He used his spy gear to escape. He was almost to Lightning's pit when Finn and Holly broke free and realized that Mater was carrying the bomb. "Mater," Finn yelled through the radio, "the bomb is on you! They put it there when we were knocked out!" Mater was close to Lightning, but when he heard that, he drove the other way. Lightning chased him and grabbed his tow hook. He wanted to apologize. Mater activated his defense system, and his rockets propelled the two friends away so the professor couldn't set off the bomb. Holly and Finn captured Professor Z and brought him to Mater. But the professor couldn't do anything. Only his mysterious boss could turn off the bomb. Guido tried to take the bomb off Mater, but none of the wrenches fit the bolts. I get it, Mater cried. He and Lightning used rocket launchers and a parachute and went to Axelrod, who was with the Queen. The timer on Mater's bomb was counting down. Just as it was about to go off, Axelrod called out, "Deactivate!" The timer stopped. Mater explained that Axelrod had made the puddle of oil at the party in Tokyo. Old British engines leaked oil, and Torque's photograph had shown an old British engine with Whitworth bolts, just like the ones that had attached the bomb to Mater. It turned out that Axelrod secretly owned oil rigs and wanted cars to buy gasoline so he could get rich. So he made sure no one trusted alternative fuel. But why didn't I explode? Lightning asked. I was running on all